Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of the Inside Game podcast. I'm delighted to introduce our new sponsor, and that is Rays Tanning and Wellness, based in Knocknancloy. Rays are the first on the island of Ireland to offer the Red Wave Pure Red Light Therapy Bed, a cutting-edge recovery tool now being used by top athletes worldwide. Whether it's muscle soreness, inflammation, joint stiffness, or speeding up overall recovery, Red Light Therapy is becoming a genuine game changer. So if you're training hard, coming back from a knock, or just wanting to stay injury free, call into Rays and experience the benefits for yourself. Rays Tanning and Wellness is helping athletes recover faster, perform better, and stay in the game. And on to today's guest, and he hardly needs much of an introduction at all. He's an Armagh and Maghery legend. He's a leader, a captain, an All-Ireland winner, and an All-Star in 2024. So here it is, my discussion with Aidan Forker. Aidan, a very warm welcome to the podcast, sir. Thanks for coming on.
No bother, Gary. Nice to support the new venture and the new podcast. Caught sight of the last one there with Aidan Maghery, so big shoes to fill there.
Well, you've the honour of being the first non-Sarsfields person that's come onto the show. So, yes, big shoes to fill, surely. And look, although I think your wife has family connections out in Derrytrossan, doesn't she?
That's right, yeah. She's maiden name Skelton, so she'd be her granda would be from the High Moss there, indeed, yeah.
Yep, right next door to my dad there. Look, the last time I saw you, Aidan, you had a protective boot on you at I think it was St. Peter's under-10s tournament. You had it all wrapped up in like a plastic bag, an awful rain that day. Was that you? That was you maybe just recently after surgery, was it?
I think I was 5 days, yeah, post surgery. Don't tell the physios I was there. Yeah, I helped out with the wee under-10 team, and I just couldn't really resist not going to watch them. And the St. Peter's tournament turned out actually to be a good day, but yeah, so it was 5 days post-op at that stage. So I suffered that night, yeah, but I'm well on the road to recovery now, thank God.
Happy days. And I think, Aidan, you've recently had another child there. I think it's your third boy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3 boys now, yeah, busy house. Baby Tag was born there on the 10th of October. So it's been a busy autumn, but with my surgery and trying to get back on my feet and the baby coming along. But now we're very lucky. We have great help and very patient wife, and trying to navigate all that as well as rehab and all. But it's been good. It's been lovely. Busy but grateful. That's what I tell people.
Yeah. And well, look, congratulations on that, Aidan, and you and the family. And look, the Forker legacy lives on strong in Maghery.
Yeah, so I was everyone saying of hopefully a full forward line sorted out maybe, or a full back line, whatever.
Or a full
whatever
back
one
line.
comes.
One line or other. Yeah, very good. I think, Aidan, as well, in the last podcast with Eamon that you mentioned, at the start of it, I brought up a charity, Armagh's Secret Santa appeal, and it was actually yourself that flagged that up to me. So I put it on a week early because they had a deadline of the 5th of December. But it was, as I say, that was yourself. So is there anything you maybe want to add, Aidan, about that about that charity?
Just when you had written to me, I had been sort of chatting back and forth with the guys organising the Armagh Secret Santa appeal. It's a local charity for I suppose families who are maybe struggling around Christmas and who need certain things just to make sure no child does without in the locality. So I thought obviously it's a very worthwhile cause, and once you text me, it sort of aligned, and I was like, it'd be a nice way for us to promote the charity and the brilliant work that they do. So I know that the deadline's passed for certain presents that they were looking, but any sort of outreach or raising awareness for that or any local charities is always a good thing. So I just thought it'd be nice to use the platform to spread the word about them. So they were out there, and you promoted them very well in the last one with Eamon there. So I think they were very appreciative of that, and they got a wee kick off that too, which is good.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So look, Aidan, you're one of only two men to do something very unique, very special, and that's to walk the steps of the Hogan stand and lift Sam Maguire. So look, of course, the other one being the main man himself, Geezer. But like 18 months on, like how do you reflect on that?
Um, I always reflect with a great deal of pride, I suppose. It's funny when you're in it still. You know, you try not to let that cloud your everyday in terms of your approach and your ambition. So you're always wrestling with um that great sense of pride that you did what you set out to do, that you wanted to do, but also that realize that, you know, hopefully success isn't just a one time thing. And you're chasing something bigger again, I suppose, and there's lots more to do. So yeah, it's been life certainly changed since we won it. For me personally, and for a lot of the people involved, and for the boys that were part of the team. But um, so yeah, it's been lovely. We had a brilliant aftermath for sure. Probably disappointing last year the way it ended up in the Ulster final, and the way we went down to Kerry. But I think there's a great deal of hope there that you know, we're still right up there. We're still very close, and um, you know, people have short memories about the build up to that game, and you know, where we were and how we were fancied. So it just doesn't go away. But that potential's still there for us, but it's only potential. It's about what you do between now and next spring, next summer, to get yourself ready to be there again. So that would be very much where the group would be focused, you know, going into this season. But um, you can see we're already looking ahead. But to answer your question, I suppose it was lovely. It was great, and something that will carry forever for sure. But we're not hopefully done yet.
Yeah. Well, look, I know as a fan, and I'm sure many like me, you know, I had a desperation in me to win it in 2024, and I'm not certain I could say I had the same desperation in 2025. I would have loved it, you know, back to back, as I'm sure everyone would have. But you know, how does a county footballer go about sort of parking 2024 and you know get going again in 2025?
um, yeah, people think it's perhaps um, about rousing speeches and trying to get yourself going again and stuff like that. But to me, your ambition isn't a loud thing. It's about, you know, just going back after all the wee small things again, the quiet things. Maybe you would say, like, just your rehab and your gym and showing up on time, and showing up with the proper attitude and mentality. And we were actually in a fortunate position that we knew what it took now, and we were confident about our product and what we were doing. That it led us to the pinnacle. So to to us, we had the blueprint. So it was just about going after those week in, week out again. And yeah, we came up short, but you know, looking back, we did do a whole pile right. And on the day, it just sort of didn't really fall for us. The momentum just swung on the new rules, and there was a lot of factors, I suppose. But um, with some people, yeah, there probably could have been arguably a bit of lack of hunger, maybe. I don't know, but that's very individual for me. Like.
Yeah, yeah. And just on the Kerry match, I mean, Kerry obviously they found something that day, and they used that and carried it on for the rest of the year, obviously, and ended up winning comfortably in the final and arguably comfortably against Tyrone as well. But like, have you looked back on that Kerry match, much, Aidan?
Not in a whole pile of detail. Not really. We've looked at those sort of. I've watched those infamous 15 scores in a row section of the game. and there's a whole pile we left behind ourselves, and that would have swung momentum instead of us dropping short or kicking wides or gaining primary possession. They did, and they punished us for it. So very much to me things that was within our control. So it's just about taking what's there and trying to learn from that. We segmented the game because before that, we really probably had them on the ropes for a long time and looked quite
Hmm.
good. And like with their quality and the way the game is now, um, we couldn't scramble back. So yeah, you can be sure like we're lucky that we've got a phenomenal coaching team, great management, and that won't be forgotten in a hurry. Like.
Yeah. Well, look, one last thing maybe on the Armagh front is because some players have stepped away. Should be probably the most noticeable, but the 2026 show goes on.
Mhm.
McKenna Cup's back very soon, early January, and look, there's a number of new sort of young players drafted in, and sort of because 2025 ended in June. It feels like a long time ago now. It almost feels like does it almost feel like a brand new sort of clear run at things again?
Yeah, totally. It's just with the split season, it's very much there's a significant gap. You're always training yourself, really, but there's a significant time away, whether that's right by design or not. That's another discussion. But um, yeah, there's a freshness for sure. There's a freshness naturally with new faces and people stepping away, but also there's a great yearning, I think, out there for football again. We didn't go as far into the summer as we had wanted, so I'd say there'll be plenty of crowds coming out for the first set of games, and um, yeah, we'd be hoping that we put our best foot forward going into the year. But it's probably about what we do between now and then to prep for that, because there'll be plenty of teams with lots of ambition over the last couple of years. The way the game is, the way the game's changed, and how close all the teams really are. Like.
Yeah. Well, if the season tickets are for Armagh are still renewal only, so there's plenty of people are still looking their tickets for next year anyway, and the hunger and
Yeah,
the
which
appetite
is
from the fans is still there.
I think it's good. Like it's good that we're a nice team to watch, and yeah,
Yeah,
we're obviously a unbelievable fan base. Like it's always overwhelming, and again that's a great source of pride for not just the players but everyone in the county. Just and across Ireland know how good we are as passionate Armagh people. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting for us when you're in the dark nights and early mornings trying to get yourself ready again to go again. So they're the big days you look forward to, and any game with Armagh is always a good one. Like.
first class. Okay, yeah, so look, we'll move on to Maghery now. Did you play at all for Maghery in the championship, or that was your operation probably hindered that? Did it?
No, so after our last league game, we were able to stay up, and I sort of made the decision where,
When you played in the league game, yeah,
yeah,
you played, yeah,
I
yeah.
was struggling big time, but I was there, between my ankle and a bit of an ongoing back issue. I wasn't right at all. So I managed to get through that, and the main thing at that point was keeping us in senior status in 1B there. And yeah, it was disappointing not being involved. Obviously, Madden went on and won it, and we really could have nipped them. They're a quality team. I'm not saying we would have went on and won it or anything, but we were right there with them the whole way, and missing a few key men. Brendan Heerven pulled his hamstring on the week of the match, and we had a couple others missing. That we would see
Yourself,
as
of
key
course.
players. So yeah, it would have been nice to be involved, and you'd like to think you'd have made a bit of an impact on the scoreboard in some capacity. But listen, it is what it is. But it gives us something to build towards as a club next year. For a lot of new boys blooded through last year, and I would say we're in a better position than we were. So, um, be hopeful that we'll be in the mix again next year, and hopefully I'm fit to go.
Yeah. I think arguably Madden's toughest match, certainly in knockout, was against yourselves. You had them. I think you were maybe 4 up quite late on in that game,
Mm.
and Madden sort of clawed you back and took the lead. But I watched that game, and young Padraig O'Keefe had a good game, and obviously he's been called into the county squad. And is it a case of one out for Mahri? Kieran Higgins has he's maybe stepped out of the county side of things now, has he?
Yeah, Kieran stepped away, and Padraig's been called in, and you know, there's there's two or three young lads we would see has massive potential from Ahari in the next number of years, who done really well for us. There's Finn Fox coming in, done really well um, for us in the back line. And we've a good young miner coming through, Jonah Feeney, and a few others who are really you'd have big ambitions for in a Mahri jersey first, and hopefully for the county. But as you know, Gary, like, talent gets you so far, but it's about what you pay when you're in there in terms of work and your ambition and your mentality when to keep you there. So it's a big test, and it's a great opportunity. And Padraig, we're working very hard and very honest, um, and his talent is obvious. A great, good league and a very good championship. So yeah, hopefully he pushes on and responds to the training, and I can be sure under Geezer he'll and the rest of the coaching team he'll improve. Like.
Yeah, no doubt. The development that Geezer and the crew offer now, you can tell how effective it is. So, Aidan, you had mentioned at the start of the show about looking after or being involved with your under 10 team, coaching at Mahri, and maybe just talk about that. People on the outside will be seeing that. This guy giving up so much of his time to captain his county, and at the same time, right down at grassroots root levels, offering as a volunteer again, at the underage level. Sort of, there's something just, I don't know what it is. It's just something really that hits home about that.
Well, I wouldn't be building it up to be too much. It's probably once or twice a week, trying to get out. And obviously, I'm a vested interest in terms of my own son's involved, and it's probably as a bit of a control freak. I probably want to be involved in his development in a sense, football wise. But I'm very lucky. I've a couple of really good helpers there. That just liaises and does all the organising, because I told them I won't have time for that. I'm happy to show up and coach, but yeah, I enjoy it. Out of obviously teaching being my background, I would have strong views on hopefully how children, and strong, how children grasp things and how they learn, and strong ideas on what's important in terms of having high standards for what you're doing, and building good values through sport. So it's not just the drills and stuff that you do, which I like to, obviously just refine skills all the time, but it's about the wee bits in between where you're trying to teach them some life lessons in between. And what better way to do that in sport? I think sport teaches you everything about life, and what you need to know, and teaches you all those things about resilience and all those things before you even know what they mean. So why would I not want to be involved in that? I'd love to get involved more, and when I will, when I have more time. But for now, it definitely scratches a wee itch, and I enjoy it. And um, I like trying to win too, but I know it's not totally about that.
Yeah, yeah. And again, just maybe one more thing on Mahri, and it's sort of slightly tongue in cheek, but someone spoke to me recently, and they sort of see how well Mahri do as a senior team with such a small community. And the question they asked me was, how the hell do Mahri do it with hardly any houses in the area, a small community, yet somehow they're able to produce all these quality players. You know, So as I say, it's slightly tongue in cheek, but what exactly is going on in Mahri that has you as good as you are?
Oh, I don't know if it's any sort of scientific method, to be honest with you. I think a lack of choice might be a factor there in terms of there's not much else going on. If you're calling for your mates, you're calling with a ball in your hand and you're going to the green, or you're going down to the pitch, or the new pitch, or down to the mugga, or somewhere around the shore to kick ball. So there's very little options else in terms of that, and we're lucky that we've a football club right in the centre of everything that we do. So um, and it's probably a cultural thing that we're a proud community, and um, we're we're lucky to have a lot of strong football and families, and a lot of good passionate people about the community and about football. So it's a
Hmm.
nice mix, a nice cocktail, and there's a lot of people working tirelessly to raise money, to build facilities, and give our ones a good go at representing Mahari and beyond. So yeah, we're lucky. Like it's just practice. Like you maybe go down any evening in the summer. There's a group of lads playing football. Like so, and then they go to good feeder schools that have football as well at the heart of that, and obviously it's competitive in them schools. So, boys are happy to try and represent Mahari there. So, it's good, and like they've no choice as such. I always think like in the bigger clubs, the so-called lesser players, as they hit a certain age, fall by the wayside, and get forgotten about or not nurtured, and we have to nurture them because
Hmm.
everybody we have is who we have, and um that's they've stood with us and just improved over time, like, and they've become stalwarts and mainstays in our club and our senior team. So it's just a lot of time and consistency of people just committing to Mahari as a club and then improving, and it's we're lucky.
Well, I think there's maybe a lot of lessons for other sort of small rural clubs, but yeah, very good, Ian. Um, Maybe just move on to the last segment here, and I want to talk to you about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah.
which, as you know, I'm involved in the running of a club in Lurgan, which you've frequented a few times. The
Hmm.
first time I ever met you actually would have been the time that Finney and Moriarty brought the whole Mahari squad into the gym, and I took us for a training session,
That's right.
and that would have been in 2019, maybe about a week or so after after Armagh lost to Mayo down in Castle Bar in the championship, if you remember, because I remember
Hmm.
speaking to you about it. That's how I remember when it was. But you maybe got your first taste for it that night. Did that maybe set up you wanting to do it? Maybe do you know what that might have been your first taste because McGeaney obviously maybe had you for the odd session here and there, so you were maybe getting a few tastes of it around that time.
Yeah, I've rolled with Kane a few times probably. And when I say I rolled, he's just been playing about. Um, yeah, no, there's something deeply primal about it for sure. I'd like to have done more of it. I know I done a couple of months with his last year, just for something different. And then obviously it's a little less compatible when you're trying to play county football, but
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
it's something that I'd love to get into and get going with much more. Something about it in terms of mind body connection, and just that rawness of physical contact, and that presence that's needed. You're either present or you're choked out, one of the two. So
Hmm.
you have to be thinking under pressure, and um, you don't belong getting humbled many times over in the space of an hour's class or whatever it is. So you're either present or you're submitted, or and I think you can be nothing but honest on the mats, and because you'll be humbled very quick. So there's a real there's a real thing about um, parking your ego and all them cliched things that people say about it, but it is totally true, and it gives you that you're going in with zero. Like I started a new job there, and you're going in with zero skin in the game at all, and you have to really adopt that beginner's mind, and I think that's what you have to have in jiu-jitsu all the time, because
Hmm.
in order to move up, from what I hear, you have to sort of let go of what you have before that's got you to that blue. It won't get you to the brown, won't get you to the purple or whatever. So there's nowhere to hide. That's a good thing about it, and there's loads of you could speak to it all day, Gary. I don't know how you see it, but it's very much that's the way I've perceived it, obviously in my limited experience. But I definitely would like to get more involved in it. But how do you see it? Like, you're obviously, are you black yet? Or are you brown still? Or
I'm still brown. I've got 4 stripes from my brown belt, so you know, I'll tell a tale in its own there. But yeah, like I'm 10 years basically into it at this stage, and everything you've said there is true. I think it's clear whether you're in it at an early stage or a late stage. You still, I don't feel too different to how I felt when I first started it in terms of, like, obviously I have a lot more knowledge and a lot more skill set and all that, but I still feel, you can still, I can still feel very humbled myself, rolling up against certain people and whatever. There's crazy levels to it as a game and whatever. But yeah, I would agree. Just everything you've just said there, it applies throughout all the years that you're doing it. That never changes. And the other thing as well there is your brother Paul. Obviously, I've got to know Paul very well over the last 2 years that he's become a regular at it. So you're gonna have to try and catch up with him at some stage in the future, I would imagine.
that's probably going to be one of the biggest obstacles of going back now. I don't want him to. I'm happy to be humbled by most people, but I don't want him to humble me. Like, yeah, no, he's enjoying it. He texts me 3 times a week about it, saying, "When can you get in?" Like, so,
Uh huh.
he'd be really keen to. He's talking about getting mats and all in the house now too, so he's definitely got the bug for it. No, it's and it's something that has longevity. There's all different age groups, and everybody can find their level too. So it's not a case of you're going into some sort of elite environment with there are some train killers in there, including yourself, but uh, everyone's very very welcome. Any jiu-jitsu environment I ever went to, the attitude and stuff that people have is a great environment to be around. I know Armagh is even though I'm trying to talk him not to do less of it, but he's very ingrained in it, and he
Uh huh.
trains very frequently in it too, because he in Team Torres there. So
Yeah.
um it's growing, isn't it, Gary? Like, it's becoming popular. And
I would argue it's probably the biggest martial art now. Mixed martial arts, MMA, obviously it's become huge, but jiu-jitsu is a side of it. Jiu-jitsu and sort of other grappling aspects is a side of it that people can do without getting their head kicked in, or getting their nose broke with an elbow. So it can be a rough enough sport, but it's not damaging, which is kind of the appeal to it. So that's why it's become extremely popular. Yeah,
yeah, it's
but
not something that I'd love to get. And even practically, I was looking at it from how can it help my. The reason I went into it is because Kieran had convinced me that I was going to help my Gaelic. So
uh-huh.
um, that's
Did you
what
find
was the
that at
starting
all,
point.
or
100%. Just the different drills and the pummeling and stuff like that, and around, and even your breath work. Like,
yeah?
you go into a tackling grid after being in, one of your jiu-jitsu drills. It's similar in terms of intensity and how tense you get. But I remember one time being with Kieran and being really stiff and tight and trying to switch on all my muscles and show my strength, and he was just like, just switch off and flow, let it flow. And I would nearly took that into maybe doing a tackling grid where everyone was very tense and tight and trying to and then you're forgetting to breathe, and you wonder why you're out of breath after 30 seconds in a tackling grid. So you can apply all those breathing techniques, and being calm under pressure and thinking about all your points in terms of your technique during what's something would people would see it as just being macho and about big hits and stuff like that. It's not like that. Gaelic's not like that anymore. It's technique based, and drilling all those wee touch points that you would do in jiu-jitsu has massive application in terms of tackling and just breathing and in general.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Good advice from Geezer as always, on the mats and off the mats, regardless of where it is. But Aidan, look, we'll probably wrap it up there. And look, you're welcome into the gym anytime, as you know. Always look forward to seeing you in. And the very, very best of luck for the upcoming season. Hopefully you're fit and well and ready to go.
Yeah, please God, I'm working hard now to get the body right again. It was a tough year last year physically, so I'm determined to. I'm feeling good otherwise. Just a couple of wee things I need to get tidied up, and I'm looking after myself otherwise. So yeah, please God, I'm available for selection, and we go and do well next year. Looking forward to it.
First class. Aidan, really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
No bother. Thanks for having me.
That was the excellent Aidan Forker. Hopefully a podcast you really enjoyed. Next week I will be bringing on another current County Armagh player, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. But until then, thanks for watching and thanks for listening to the Inside Game podcast.